had so many people that was like, oh, I've always wanted to buy a house. I just didn't know how. Been living in the same rental property, David, for 20 years. They didn't know how to buy a house. Working at the hospital in the cafeteria, been having the same job for over a decade, right? Those are the kind of people that I'm interested in being able to help.
What if I told you for $1, I will introduce you to hundreds of entrepreneurs every single morning this week? From all across the country, you'll be able to talk to hundreds of entrepreneurs, and I'll coach you. I'll coach you for $1 this whole week, and I'll introduce you to some of my successful friends for $1 this week. Would you take part in that? Well, go to themorningmeetup.com because that's exactly what we're doing here, okay? The only organization that gathers entrepreneurs every single day for the betterment of entrepreneurship, okay? Every single day, Monday through Friday, we gather, we're growing, we're learning. We got a book club. Have you ever seen hundreds of entrepreneurs reading the same book every single chapter, every single day? We're growing together, okay? You need the environment to grow in. Themorningmeetup.com, $1. I'm going to give you all of this for $1. If you want to stay, great. It's $79 a month after that. If not, no obligation. You can leave whenever you want. All right? themorningmeetup.com. I'll see you in the morning. Welcome to another edition of the Social Proof Podcast, where we find dope people that did dope stuff, and we're starting to bring people back because the last time you were here, you were already like killing it in Forbes and all that kind of stuff. Was that Forbes magazine? No, Black Enterprise.
Black Enterprise.
You was in Black Enterprise. Yeah. Same thing. Yeah. Not really. But Black Enterprise for being the only woman in Louisiana, Black woman, to be a developer
of mixed-use communities.
Of mixed-use communities.
Yes.
What does that mean?
So mixed use means that I blend different type of real estate industries together. So for instance, in our community, we have commercial, we have multifamily, we have residential. And so the concept of a mixed use community is to eat, sleep, work, and play. And so we build smart communities for individuals to be able to have accommodations all within one place.
Eat, sleep, work, and play. So when you're, but I just got to lay the foundation because like some people build houses. Yeah. And some people will build kind of apartment complexes. Yeah. But you build the whole community. Right. Like you get so walk me through the one you're building right now. Okay. How many acres is it, maybe?
It's 15 acres.
So 15 acres. Mm-hmm. And what do you have to do with this 15 acres?
So, it's 15 acres in the back, and then we have an additional 15 acres in the front that we're going to be developing, but that's going to be all commercial in the front. So a total of 30 acres collectively. So the first step I would say with becoming a real estate developer is making sure that whenever you find a blank piece of land, to me, it's like a blank canvas, right? You're able to see how you're going to put the roads in. You'll be able to see this community inside your head of how you want your houses and what they're supposed to look like and the type of design these homes are supposed to have. And, all the way from the best use of the community, like how can I make this community an engaging community where I'm not just putting homes on a piece of dirt. I want to be able to make sure that people within the community actually utilize the surrounding areas within the community, right? And so that's why we put in, multifamily, and then we have the commercial aspect where we're going to bring in a coffee shop and a grocery store, and we're going to bring in healthcare and all of these different type of things. Well, people within communities need those type of things. So it makes it very easy and accessible for them to be able to have. We also develop in underserved communities where this is one of the greatest needs. They don't have access to healthy food options. They don't have access to good health care. A lot of them are on transportation. And so what we do is we take that particular income that those individuals in, and most people say, oh, that's affordable housing, but we don't use any type of government assistance. We use our own money. And so I call it...
What do you mean? Explain that. You don't use any type of government assistance.
Yeah, so a lot of the times when you hear the word affordable, that's subsidized with some type of assistance from the government, whether it be
Hold on real quick, because Joe doesn't really know what subsidized means.
Yes.
So explain subsidized to Joe real quick.
Yeah, so subsidized mean a portion of the project that the government would be involved in. They would be able to have a certain type of control of income brackets, the type of people that they would approve, right? Like you got to have a certain ratio balance. Subsidized simply means you're getting something from the government and you're agreeing to the terms of whatever it means for them to give you that money.
Hold on. So subsidized means the government will give you money and they got to approve the type of people?
It's not so much the type of people, they do it through qualifications, right? And so the reason why I don't do subsidized is because I believe it keep communities with their thumbs on it, right? So I don't ever want to be told by the government how much rent I can charge in the community, how much I can sell my properties for. I don't ever want them to have that much power. I don't want them to tell me how much vacancy has to be allocated to them. Those are the type of control things that they have. Now, subsidized is needed, right, through the Section 8 program.
Hold on. This is a whole nother thing for me. So there are certain parts of the country or the places where the government decides how much you can sell a house for or how much.
Yeah, it's rent control. Yeah, it's rent control. It's income-based control. Yes, absolutely. So when you see the housing projects, that's subsidized, okay? And the government controls, if you make too much money, you cannot live there, okay? So it's going to always be a particular set of individuals with certain income brackets that qualify to remain exactly right there in that community.
What do you think about that, though? Because on one hand, yes, people who make a lot of money shouldn't take up all the housing for cheap.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, you're kind of grouping a certain type of person together, which maybe if that was the case, okay, let me ask you this. Say I want to develop a community and I said, okay, well, it's affordable housing.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to build out this building. We'll call it a project. That's what like projects, right?
Yeah, government housing, yeah.
So government housing, but I can decide that I'm going to build a institute for learning or entrepreneurship or whatever in a building right across the street so that I can start filtering those people into I can put education around them. I can decide to do that.
Yeah, you totally can.
Are there certain governments that will not even allow that particular system? Like, everybody, we need gun stores and pawn shops.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to put here.
Yeah, no, not in that aspect. I would say that what they care about is what they put their money in. So if you take money from them, you have to follow their rules. Okay? You can't sell for a certain period of time. Like, you literally at the mercy of them, I would say, in a sense, because I like to be able to say, well, if I want to sell my portfolio in year one, I don't want to have to wait 5 years because the government gave me $1. Now, you ask me, how do I feel about, subsidized or affordable housing or whatever the case may be? I know the pain points because I lived on the housing program. I had Section 8, I had welfare, I had food stamps, I had everything that the government could give. And I do believe that it is a stepping stone for some to be able to utilize those resources to build themselves up. So after Hurricane Katrina, I didn't have no money. I didn't have anything, right? So I needed Section 8. I needed that helping hand. The problem is it makes people lazy as well, right? They rely on the government to pay their bills every single month and to provide them with health care and to do all of these different things. And so I'll give you an example. Me and some of my family members, I'm not going to call them out, but after Hurricane Katrina, we all had the same starting line, if you will, if you look at it, right? FEMA said, here is some money to you, here's some money to you, and here's some money to you. You all got the same exact amount of money, okay? We all was on Section 8. We all was on welfare. We all had food stamps. We were on the same playing field. The problem was I was aggravated that we were left in the city for 3 days. And I said, I'll never rely on the government again to get me out of nowhere. I'm going to fly the next time a hurricane come, right? Well, I look at my family members who had the same exact amount of money, the same circumstances. And I look at them now and they still in the same position, relying on the government to take care of their bills. They're healthy. They're able to work. There's nothing wrong with them mentally. They're fully capable of it, right? The difference is I think we get so comfortable, right, with others being providers. And I just I think it cripples a lot of people within the community. And so it's not that I'm against affordable housing and or subsidized. I just believe we have a lot of lazy people that's on the program that just wants to remain on the system. They call that hood rich, right? I just don't believe in that. I believe we're hustling backwards. And so I believe for me, when I go in these communities, I'm not just building, I'm educating, I'm bringing them along for the ride. They get to see somebody who looked like them be able to birth communities where you put your children's name on the street signs and they be like, wow, I didn't even know you can do that. Well, yeah, you can. So I just like for to see things in a different way.
All right. So I feel like I got a solution.
Okay.
We built, what's so funny, Joe? Like we get some acres of land. So in the 15 acres, right? What do you have there? How many streets? How many streets is there?
We have 5 streets.
5 streets.
Yeah,
okay.
One of them named after Drew Brees.
Really?
Yes.
You decided to do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something about, man, New Orleans and football. Oh my gosh. I did an event in Louisiana one time. I will never do it again during football season.
Why?
Nobody came. Nope. Yo, it was literally 4 people there. Like, yo, I'm ready to learn. I'm like, okay, we don't do events in football season in Louisiana. Okay.
No, we love it. Yeah.
So 5 streets. What all is going in this community?
Okay, so in this community, we're going to put 21 single family homes.
And how many you got right now?
Right now, we have 4. Well, we're starting on the 4th one, but we have 4. And then we have 4 more that's scheduled next week to start the plats and the breaking of it.
Gotcha. Because when you came last time, what you had just acquired the property?
Last time I came, we were going through the zoning process to finish out all of the approvals of what we needed because we were replatting the community to be mixed use. They wanted it to just be residential, which residential is not the best use for this community, not for a developer and not for people in the community.
Wow.
Well,
because you can't eat. You can only
sleep.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it.
Because you want to eat, sleep, work, and play.
That's right. Yes, I want to bring jobs. I want people to have access to healthy foods. I want in these communities, it's important that you don't shy away from what you know should be there because it is a lot cheaper for me to build 50 homes in this community and be out, as opposed to me squeezing almost 200 doors back here, right? And when I say squeezing, it's comfortable, right? We have a 50-unit apartment complex. We got 68 townhomes. We got 21 homes. We have a 10,000 square foot commercial parcel of land that's going to be, for a grocery store and a coffee shop and, things that's going to enrich the community right there because that's what they need.
21 homes. 50 townhomes.
68 townhomes.
68 townhomes.
Depending on absorption, we may switch that and add more housing. So we may have, 60 housings and offset the townhouse living. It just depends on the absorption in that particular area because they're both the same type of use when you're going to sell. It's just absorption means which one is selling faster and meeting the demand of the people that's looking for something at that time.
So there's no difference in the maybe the aesthetics of the community or anything like that. It's just which one people prefer.
That's right.
Single, okay, gotcha.
That's
and
right.
then a 50-unit apartment complex.
Yes.
And how do you price this stuff?
So you do it in phases with a feasibility study. And so we have a feasibility study for single family. We have a feasibility study for multifamily. We have one for the townhouses. We have one for commercial. Then we have one general with all of it as one big picture. And the feasibility study gives us our projections of, where we should be, how much money we're looking to make in Q1, in Q2, in Q3, in Q4. It lets us know if the market is keeping up with our absorption, if we're building too many, if we need to slow down. Keep up with it that way. How
much is this projected to cost?
So before wood pricing, and the economy went where it was 15 million. We're about 21 million now.
So 21 million.
Yeah.
So if I get $21 million, I can build a community?
Yeah. And put your children's name on it.
And put my kids' names on the streets.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That's cool, bro.
Yeah. Do anything you want.
All right. So here's my solution.
Okay.
So let me ask you, okay, real quick. It's $21 million to build it. What do you stand to...
Don't ask my profit, David. I know you're about to ask me.
Why wouldn't I ask you your profit? See? So what would you stay in the game? Well, I mean, like, what's the... I mean, it's not just you. It doesn't all go in your pocket, but like
Well, let
the
me
investors.
just say this. So we have angel investors. Let's say you invested $100,000 into this project. We're looking at a return of 250% on that $100,000.
21 million times 200. That's 41. So, oh yeah, okay, all right. I feel like I could do that. You know what I mean? You get 21
It's projected,
friends,
but
so give me $1 million.
Yeah, I mean, it's projected, but let's just say worst case, and this is what I tell all investors, right? Everything is a risk, right? Mm-hmm. But the reason why that this is so good is because we're buying in an opportunity zone. So our capital gains is that's why we're building multifamily, because one, it helps the community, but we also get to sit on this project even longer. So it's a whole vehicle for opportunity.
What do you mean you get to sit on it longer? What do you mean?
Meaning that I don't need to sell it.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So normally whenever we develop communities, whatever's left over, when we get to the 25% stage, we're usually unloading it and we're into another community. Well, with this one, being that it's in an opportunity zone and it's a catalyst for other opportunity zone projects, we will sit and hold this because we know, I just told you the 250% return. Well, if we sit here for 10 years, because we started at the beginning of when President Trump first announced the opportunity zones, all of our capital gains that we would have to pay on this project would be eliminated. So we would literally have this community to be performing for the next, we have about maybe 7 years left within it. And when we finish with it, if we decide to sell, we won't be taxed on the capital gains, right?
So when you say you sell the whole community.
Yeah, we sell whatever inventory's left. So like another developer come in and say, look, I need, and it's if they keep the opportunity zones, which I hope they do, because it helps inner city communities, especially with the type of system I have in place, but if I get to the point, let's just say, after my 10-year period or whatever, another investor want to come in and purchase it. If the opportunity zone initiative is still moving forward, then they're able to dump in their capital gains, and then it continues to keep the community up. The community is now receiving money that it has not received in decades. Gotcha. So that's the beauty of it. So whenever we look at returns, and the reason why we make so much is because, one, it is in an opportunity zone. So our capital gains is a huge benefit. The second thing is this property is, they're peanuts, right? Nobody want to buy it because it's in areas where you don't really see people buying. And so property values are very, very, very low, and when you come in and you build a mixed use community, such as, the one that we're doing, well, our returns are going to be extremely high. If our average cost per lot on 200 lots, let's just say 200, is $1,000 allocated per lot, do you know my bill cost with my lot cost? I'm in like less than $100K, if that, per lot, if things remain the same.
Mm. So how much are you selling the houses for now?
Oh, affordable. So our homes start at $169, and the highest that we sell in this community is $189. We wanted to start at $150 because that's where the sweetness at, right? That's where everybody needs it. But when lumber pricing went up, it knocked that completely out the bayou. We couldn't do it, Sure. But at $169, as soon as we break ground, they're going like this. This is a community where people said nobody's ever going to buy. This is a community that's been sitting dormant for over 12 years. I came in and I was like, you know what? This is disgusting.
Was it just land, or they had houses on there?
No, it didn't have anything on there. It was just land. They had some old roads that we had to go, like we have to do these roads, right? But it was, it was filled with debris, David. Like it had tires and, all type of things you will find in an abandoned community, right? And it was one where they just used it as a dump.
All right, so here's my plan.
Okay.
So if I get some land, I'm going to build some affordable housing, right? So it might be like project housing.
You want to build a project house?
I want to build a project.
So you want to work with the government?
Maybe.
Okay.
Kind of. Walk me through this. I don't know.
Okay.
So let's say the government gives me money to build affordable housing, a project building, 100 people stay in that joint, right? But in the community, the other stuff I'm going to put is all empowering. So it might be a really inexpensive gym, a community entrepreneurship center, healthy food options that's not super expensive. But I think that's how we can kind of put people here because of their circumstances, but develop them, because I'm a real big advocate for improving the community or the environment that you're around. I think I just solved the problem to Black
let me ask you a question.
Poverty.
Let me ask you a question, though. So why do you need the government to do that?
I know what you're thinking. How the heck do you make money from a podcast? Is David just doing this podcast because he likes it, or there's a heavily monetized strategy attached to it? Well, it's both. I really love talking and interviewing people and getting free game from really successful people. But also, this is a 7-figure podcast. I'm telling you right now, there's so much money in podcasting, and we're early in the space. I really feel like it's 2009, and I'm telling you to buy Bitcoin. I'm right now telling you to start podcasting because in 5-10 years, it's skyrocketing. Those are the names that are going to be the ones who have the voices in our world, the ones that start a podcast right now, okay? So I put together everything I know about podcasting in an easily digestible program, okay? So go to podcastersblueprint.com, and you know I got to give y'all some love, okay? Enter code SOCIALPROOF. I'm taking 20% off so you can get your voice heard, all right? So this podcast that you're loving and enjoying, there's other people that's going to love and enjoy yours too, okay? Podcastersblueprint.com. Let's get back to the episode. Because it's like Robin Hood. I'm taking from the rich, and I'm taking the money from the government and pouring it into the people.
And who money do the government have?
Our money, I suppose. Dang, that's deep. But, I mean, so how would you go about it?
I mean, I think that's a great idea, right? And that's what we're doing, right? So you're creating the type of community that's going to empower them to get from that community, right? I believe in subsidized. I don't want you to think I don't. I just believe we can do it without the government having so much control over our money. The moment, I think for me, the moment I know I am not in 100% control of my project where I'm putting majority of the money, then I'm probably not going to want to do that deal because I have to get permission to be able to make certain type of decisions. I don't want permission from the government. I think they have a lot of, projects where mines shouldn't matter much, right? But I just don't believe that every project that, and honestly, the word affordability, everybody think affordable housing ties to the government, but we're really building it without the government. That's why I was like, no, we're building economy-friendly properties.
Where you get the money from?
So myself, my partners, other investors, just regular people. And then I created, of course, SALT Capital, which is a real estate crowdfunding platform in Louisiana, where we utilize funds through that platform to be able to do other projects as well. But to be honest, our real estate crowdfunding platform have only funded 2 of those projects. We have literally used all of our own money to be able to do it. Remember, the bank said, we're not giving you money in this area, Terrica, because we just don't believe in it, okay? Well, now the banks are saying, oh, they're selling really fast. We'll give you one, right? We'll give you one loan, Terrica. We'll give it to you at 7% and 6-month term. Like, I do that myself. I don't need that, right? Now, if I look at the longevity of the relationship, I said, well, if I do this with you and it's a success, will you give me 10 at a time? They said, it's possible. So then I said, oh, okay, maybe it's worth considering it.
When you say they're going to give you one, they'll put a mortgage on one of the houses.
Well, they'll on one of the lots for me to build one house.
Gotcha.
For them to test it out. After they've seen the proven concept of all of the properties we put up and they're selling, and then we're starting 4 more without them. That means if we putting up this much money and you have a hard time, and you know how much the money is from the bank?
How much?
$120,000, if that.
So what's the point?
Yeah, right. But the point is with OPM, other people money, I can do a whole lot more. But because it's my money and because it's my partner's money, we're able to do 4 or 5 at a time because we still have a lot of other projects going on through SALT.
Dang. All right, so look, I'm going to ask you, because I'm not going to go to the government. I'm just going to come to you. I need $21 million, okay? Would you hold me down? Just so I got a vision. It's going to work.
I got to see the land.
All right. If I find some dope land.
See, so to me, money is not like, that's a piece of paper. Mm-hmm. That is one of the easiest things to get and do, right? So like, for instance.
But you need 21 million of those pieces of paper though.
Yeah, but when you look at it like that, it becomes really, really big, right? I look at it, if I tell you I'm going to put in XYZ and you're going to get XYZ, you're not looking at 21 million. You're looking at that ROI. Well, that's how I look at the project, right? So when I go and look at a project, I'm not like, yo, it's $21 million. I'm like, yo, I may make $200 million. Like, you get what I'm saying? So, yeah, so when I'm looking at it and I'm breaking down the numbers like that, it's a completely different perspective. And again, I don't do it for money. So I think that's another awesome part of it. Now, I make a lot of money doing it, don't get me wrong, but I'm not doing it for the money. I'm doing it because nobody else would step up in these particular communities and do what we're doing, because it is a risk. You're risking $21 million in what they call the ghetto, right? But I believe that's where the sweetest spots are. And I believe that's one of the ways you can prevent gentrification is by being able to invest in those communities and keep it economically, thank you. Yes, economically affordable for the individuals within the community.
Yo, there was literally, and I got to show it to you. It was a young lady. Shouts out to Talia. If y'all know Talia, reach out to her. Dope in real estate. She has like 40 acres. And the guy, her client wants to sell it, but we got to get a survey, right? So, but it was like mad trees on there, and I want to now I'm gonna reach out to her like, yo, actually, let me text her.
Yeah, you talking about I got some trees on that.
It had trees on it. I looked at it; it wasn't like super, like it wasn't cleared away. So I'm thinking in my head, okay, it needs to be clean, and then we can build stuff. So that's actually the deal, right? You see it? So don't say it out loud, but it's 40 acres.
For this price?
Yeah. You trying to get it?
Yeah, I want it today. Yeah.
Hey, Talia, if that land is still available, I'm going to call you in just a second. All right? Well, and yeah, I'm going to call you today. Okay. But we got to get a survey first, right?
Yes, but I mean, you can do all that during your due diligence period. But that's the right price?
Yeah. And it was cheaper than that because it was cheaper than that if we close, like soon, cash, right? But it's like $75,000 cheaper than that. But it was like, yo, we got to get I was talking to Ramon. He was like, yo, you got to get a survey because you can wind up buying some land and you can't do anything at all with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's true, right?
No, it's very true. And you got to get dirt samples and different things like that if you're developing a community. But you can figure all that out, during due diligence. Secure the deal.
I like how you did that, though. Yeah. You're like, I want that today.
Yeah, secure the deal. It's a no-brainer. What's the worst that can happen? You got underground pipes. You got to, you can't build on it. Well, he have to keep his land. The best thing is it's nothing underground. It passed all the soil tests and the topo and everything that needs to be done, and you move forward to closing. I mean, that's 40 acres.
How much to take down all them trees, though?
40 acres and a mule.
Oh, yeah. So, okay, that's going to be the land. I'm going to build my ghetto. It's like a... Not
David.
Ghetto. I'm going to build the project building, right? But we're going to empower people. So... We're going to empower people around it, and then it'll be like a filtration system. Or we sell it for rent, right? We try to rent it, but then we gentrify the community with our own ginger. You know what I mean? So, like, we get the people, they can buy the units that they live in after we empower them through entrepreneurship and business and all that kind of stuff in this community.
So, so you want to build projects?
I think I solved the problem.
You want to build projects?
Yeah, it's like
building prisons.
It's not building prisons.
Well, what are you building?
I'm building a place where underserved communities, or not underserved, I'm just using stuff I heard. I'm building a place where people who don't have the finances, they might be in government assistance, can stay, but we empower the people in this building. Because right now, when you build those projects...
we have projects all around the world.
Oh, so I could just build stuff around the project.
Yeah, like we ain't lacking on housing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like maybe the homeless portion aspect is lacking. But when you come to, the Section 8, they receive, millions and millions of dollars a year. Every time the president, sign a piece of paper, it's to be able to provide that assistance to the government. I believe that we, like you said, empower them, but teach them ownership. Because as long as you keep them there, there's no ownership. They have no decisions. Everybody will always make decisions for them, and they'll never be able to make a decision for themselves. I believe if you do not own, then you pretty much basically like homeless in a sense. One stream of income is almost none, and I really believe that. So if I say, yeah, David, let's do this, but let's not do a project. Let's be able to work with the housing program to see how many people they have on their list that's ready to transition into affordable, economy-friendly housing, right? That we build for them and teach them how to sustain their mortgage and teach them lifestyle, I would say lifestyle living, right? A lot of them don't even know how to budget. A lot of them don't know what a personal financial statement is. You got
to teach them in the ghetto, man.
Get
them out.
Yeah, you can go there now,
I need to just go out there like, hey, y'all, we're doing a financial literacy workshop right in the front of this project building.
Yeah. I do believe that there's a need for it, right? I personally don't believe I'm the person to go build projects. I come out of them. I just know the stigma and how the mindset. It's just when you're around it every day, all day, it's almost like you conform to it. You become very comfortable and you don't really see a reason to leave that situation. And for me, I believe if we remove them while educating them and teaching them, then they say, like me, I had to be removed from the situation to see that there was better. You're trying to take me out a place where I know everybody, everybody know me. We chilling and rocking or whatever the case may be. I literally had to leave. Now, I didn't go to Beverly Hills, right? I just left the middle of the situation and I was able to look from the outside in and say, oh, I want more, I want better. And I was able to do that. I just think building another project, the moment you say that, you know how it's going to go from there.
Yeah.
And you got to wait on the government as well for the money too. And I don't like to wait.
True. You know what? I guess, and now that I'm thinking about it, it's a really good idea, right? And but that's not something that takes 2 or 3 years to change a people's mindset.
Right.
How do you see? I guess that would be the plan because you could build a nice facility, but the people that come from this environment, all they know is, let's say, destruction or, oh, that looks like an opportunity not to learn and grow, but to take something. And then maybe I would be frustrated with my own people in that situation, but it's because that's all they know. So it's not like putting on a workshop and, people are growing and developing. First, you got to change how to get them to want to grow and develop.
The hearts and the mind. That's where you start.
How do you do that?
The hearts and the mind. So whenever we did Madeline Cove, we knew that we were going to need allies within the community.
And Madeline Cove is your...
Yeah, that's the community that we're building in right now, right? So we didn't just go in there and be like, oh, we're building this. I literally, went door to door and was talking to people. It was like, hey, this is what I'm doing. I'm bringing ownership into the communities, and I had so many people that was like, oh, I've always wanted to buy a house. I just didn't know how. Been living in the same rental property, David, for 20 years. They didn't know how to buy a house. Working at the hospital in the cafeteria, been having the same job for over a decade, right? Those are the kind of people that I'm interested in being able to help have ownership and show them the ways. They living in these disgusting rental properties where, you got a hole in the ceiling and, whatever the case may be. You got a duct and all this stuff. Like, those are the people I'm interested in helping bring out of a bad situation into one that they can simply be proud of. So we have a family that's moving into one of the houses. She's a single mom. She's been working for the city for years. She don't make much money, but she has had a stable income. And when she walked up to the property, I seen her fall and her kids picked her up. Like, I just thought, yo, she fell at new construction site. I'm thinking liability. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
You okay? But what I realized when I got closer to her was that she didn't just fall. She went down to thank God with tears in her eyes because she never thought she'll be able to find a home. She said before Madeline Cove, she'd been looking for 3 years. And everything she was looking at would keep her in the same type of housing she in now. So why should she move?
Wow.
You know, and so to witness that with a single mother and her kids, I thought that was beautiful.
That's amazing.
It is.
So, okay, now I guess let's help these people because you've been on both sides, right?
Mm-hmm.
So where your government assistance have absolutely nothing, right?
Mm-hmm.
To providing opportunities for other people in your living. I don't even know if, did you imagine this, what you'd be doing right now? Did you ever think this would be your life?
No, not at all. Like, I was never like, oh, like, I'm gonna be this real estate developer or anything like that. I think my life went through stages, and I believe God had to prepare me for the next door that was gonna be open because I just didn't see clearly there, right? So when I got to Lafayette after Hurricane Katrina, I just knew that I needed something to start making money. So I got into real estate. So then once I passed that exam after 7 times, right? After I got into real estate, I realized, man, these brokers are pimps. They pimping the real estate agents, right? They take their money. You know what I'm saying? They like, give me 50%. They sitting behind their desk. So I had a problem with that. So then I was like, what if I create an agent-friendly brokerage? And then I went out and started Cachet Real Estate. So then after I started Cachet Real Estate, I started working with more investors so I wouldn't be the type of broker that would take business from my agents. Well, when I started working with investors, I started seeing...
Oh, so you're saying I'm only going to work with investors. I'm not working with single family and stuff like that because I'm my agent.
Right.
That is some leadership right there.
Right. And so when I started working with investors, I started seeing how much money they was making. But what really got me was when the attorney gave me the wrong real estate folder. Right. So I had did everything for this dude at his property, David. Like, I mean, the paint, the contractors, I was there every day, all day. I did all the design. I did everything. And then when we go to closing, I had just got my 3% commission and he was getting whatever dollar amount. At the time, I didn't know it was 5 figures I was making him. So when the attorney gave me his folder, which he thought it was my folder, that right there was like, yo, I can't keep working for peanuts. Like, I'm not ungrateful, but I do know if I'm doing all this, then I should be entitled to at least 50% of that. And that went from me working with investors. I lost all my investors except one. And then after that, we started building. And I saw how much they were doing in building and how they would only build on one side of town. And I'm like, yo, let's go build over here. And nobody did. So then I was like, well, what if I start building over here? And then I was like, after I started building, then development came. What if I can birth, out an entire community where it has been placed in an area that has been completely forgotten about and abandoned? What if I make this beautiful again? What if I give people a reason to want to drive to this side of town? What if I give, what if, right? And that right there took me to the White House. It wasn't because I purposely I'm doing all of this, right? It just, what if I go and do this, And I never told myself, oh, you can't do it, right? I never said, oh, I need to get permission from somebody. I didn't sit around waiting for people to approve it. I just did it. And now you see what you see.
I love it. All right, so let's give some steps for somebody. Let's say they make, I don't know, $30,000, $40,000 a year. How do we get into the first home? How do we do that?
So let me say this: 30 to 40,000 is pretty good, right? Because I'm trying to get people into a home that's making 20 to 25,000.
Really?
Yes. And so,
so how we do that? Let's say somebody makes 20,000.
Yeah.
How you do that?
Yeah. So the first thing you do is, you want to stay on your job consistent, right? At least a year to a year and a half. 2 years is really sweet. File your tax returns. Don't sit there. If you got to, catch up or amend or whatever, do that now, okay? Because you will need your tax returns. That's the first thing. The second thing I would say is focus on your credit. Okay. Like credit is so important. Like nobody never taught me how important credit was until I realized, trying to open up a bank account. They're like, yo, your credit bad. I didn't even know you need credit for a bank account. You know what I'm saying? But at that point in time, it was bad. So I couldn't get a bank account. And so I think that it's important to know what your credit is. You only need really a 620 to get financing for a real estate residential property. FHA, if you look it up, their law states 580. Now, with a 580 credit score, it's very hard to get a loan because a lot of lenders don't want to work with 580 because that usually means you've been having challenges somewhere along the way. But with the 580, if you had 10% to put down, and let's just say 10% on 100,000 is $10,000, well, then you may be able to get into a home with a very low credit score. I call it buying your way into a house at that point, right? But after you focus on your credit score, you get it reasonably to 620. It don't need to be 700 or 650. But once you get your credit score good, then you go speak to a loan officer, and then they'll say, oh, look, you qualify for XYZ. You've been on your job for a certain amount of time. Look like you got, good history. So let's try it out. You want to find a realtor that you know and trust. For buyers, it's free to use a realtor. You don't got to pay them nothing. So they're going to work very hard to put you in a real estate property. Once you find a good realtor that you have a good relationship with and you find a property, you're going to close on the property. And then from there, don't just stop there. You have ownership. You have a taste of it. Do it again. And if you're single, I recommend you buying a fourplex, okay? And or a duplex, anywhere from 2 to 4 units. If you're single and you don't have no children or anything, I wouldn't buy a house first. I would buy 4 units. The reason why is because it puts you in good standing with the bank instantly. The reason why is because in order to become an investor with a bank and get their money, they want to know if you have experience. Well, yes, I own a fourplex. I live in 1 unit. I rent out the other 3. I'm familiar with the maintenance. I'm familiar with how to handle tenants. I'm familiar with whatever the case may be, right? So now you just created experience with that.
Yeah, hold on real quick. So, I got the 3 units in Louisiana. Thank you, Terrica. So I got for one, we did, and that one flip we did goes on my record, right? Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. All right, so we did a flip. Well, Terrica did the flip. Really. I just put up some money. And it worked out. And I think I might have, I don't know, maybe put up 30,000 and came back 51 or something like that. I don't know. It was really good. And then I have 3 units in Louisiana right now, which your company manages, which is cool. But I can take that to the bank and say, look, I did a flip. I have 3 units. Obviously, I got the building that we're building right now. And I can say, hey, give me some money.
Yes. Yes, you have the experience.
I didn't even think about that.
You have everything. Yes. And so for a first-time home buyer, this the sweetness. You can literally use a regular loan. You don't need a commercial loan. You can literally put down 3.5% on an FHA loan and qualify to be able to buy up to 4 doors.
So where are you going to get 4 doors from?
A fourplex?
Yeah.
Okay, think outside of Atlanta. We got them all over in Louisiana. I'm just saying, okay? And I'm sure like in other low-lying states. What, fourplex?
Yeah.
David, you already own a house.
I know, but I want some more. I want to be like you when I grow up. What you mean?
I think you're talking about for your primary residence. I'm talking about for their primary residence. You saying as a home buyer, where can they start?
Okay. I see. Okay.
Yeah.
So give me a price on, let's just say, I guess Atlanta is different, but... Yeah. How much, let's just give me an example. How much you think you can get a fourplex in a not Atlanta, New York, something like that?
Okay, I can tell you that. But let me just say, with that deal, that's why I would have been inked that deal that you just showed me on your phone. Because I know Atlanta, and if that's anywhere within the proximity, that's a no-brainer. Okay, now back to the topic though.
Yeah, go for it. Well, let me just make sure.
But I'll tell you this. In my marketplace, you can get a fourplex anywhere from $100,000 to $150,000.
All right, look, I know you're enjoying the episode, but I got to tell you, finally, you asked for it, and we created a Patreon, okay? We created an inner circle. We have amazing stories, amazing information, the how-tos from the episodes. The only thing we're missing is a community. So it's about that time. We put together a Patreon, we put together a community because we have to have conversation around the information. So even this podcast we're listening to right now, there needs to be conversation. I want to hear what you got. I want to hear what you got. Like, let's throw some stuff back and forth. And because we're like-minded, we're all going in the same direction. When we connect in a community, we can connect on other stuff outside the community because we're building real relationships. Okay, so check out the Patreon. We got 3 tiers. I don't care what tier you join. The support is appreciated. Okay, thank you so much. Now back to the episode. From what?
100,000 to 150,000.
So let's say $100,000 for a fourplex.
Mm-hmm.
And you put down 3.5%, so you save $3,000 or $4,000. Mm-hmm. You can get in it.
Mm-hmm.
And how much do you think you can rent those other units for?
I would say about 500, 2 bedrooms, 1 baths. They usually, fourplexes is 2 bedrooms, 1 baths, or you may get all ones. Depends on, the number of bedrooms you get. But let's just say they're all 2 ones, right? Anywhere from $500 to $650, depending on the area and location. And I said $150,000. So it's not going to be like in Beverly Hills, right? Mm-hmm. But it's also not going to be in the gutter, so you'll make pretty good income. 1 unit will pretty much pay your mortgage. Once your mortgage is paid, the other 2 units is cash flowing you. You just created an extra stream of income of $1,000 just by buying correctly.
So where are these units at? Like Louisiana, where else? Like they got Detroit's good too, right?
So I'm not familiar with Detroit marketplace, but what I will say is I looked at a deal in it was right outside of Louisiana, Alabama. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I've seen them in Alabama and I've seen them in Mississippi and Louisiana.
Okay. I should have did that when I was single. You know what I mean? But even not even being single, you can have a family with a fourplex.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you got 1 kid, you know what I'm saying? And you're in a 2-bedroom. But I think, if you got more than 1 kid, maybe you can do a duplex and find a 3-bedroom, 2-bath unit or something like that and then make it work.
All right. So we get a duplex or quad or something like that. What do we do with this extra money that's cash flowing?
Right. So I always like to say, investing should be a part of your lifestyle. Like there's never a day that I don't make an investment. You should invest every single day. If you spend every single day, you should invest every single day. And so find some type of portfolio that's performing well, that maybe you can put that extra cash flow in. Maybe you can put it into a real estate crowdfunding platform that's, reliable or whatever, and be able to grow it that way. You can put it into crypto. You can I would say, find a mentor in wherever you want to invest and ask them, what is the best way to put this extra $1,000 away a month in, and go from there.
Got it. There's a good formula, getting people from where they are to actually getting in the game.
Absolutely.
Let me ask you a question. Do you do lending?
No.
You don't?
No. No.
What about a deal for you?
I'll partner with you.
What does that mean? What would that look like?
Me bringing up money and having ownership in the deal.
So you wouldn't just lend?
I like equity.
I like equity. So there's a building that I want. So I'm building one right now. It's a podcasting studio, but I looked at one yesterday and I really, really want it. Like it's a big event space, and I want to build out like a talk show set. And not only like where people can do TED Talks, events, because it's not the ones that we have in Atlanta, they're always all booked out. But I just saw this space. It's like 16,000 square feet.
Nice.
So it's $1 million. And how do you suggest I go get it? Because it seems like it's going to be like a tough thing going through the bank. But my thought was,
why would it be tough?
I don't know. It's just banks are weird. I went to the guy yesterday and he said some lady's going to call me. She didn't call me. And every time I talk to them, it's just weird. But anyway, here's my thought process. If it's $1 million, and let's say I put down 25%, 250,000. I feel like somebody should give me I feel like you should give me $750,000.
Yeah. For some equity, yeah.
Would you do that?
Yes, I don't mind.
Oh, that's equity in the business too.
Yeah.
You know what? I might be feeling it.
You should.
I might be feeling that.
You should.
So we would both own the building?
Well, it depends on what we negotiate. I'm a very silent partner.
I like that. And I was actually going to call one of my friends, but he ain't silent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, none of my friends, especially in Atlanta, they're not silent. You know what
I'm
I mean?
super silent. Yeah,
I'm gonna show it.
And you know I believe in you. You know I'm already kicking myself for the other deal. So.
Oh yeah, because we were supposed to. Yes, you're right. I'm gonna show you. We're waiting on like comps and stuff like that. But this is like what the building looks like. So that will like change all that. But they got a whole upstairs and all that.
It used to be a church.
It used to be a church. It used to be like a basketball church. But now it was a church. Then the bank owns it now.
The bank owns it, so it's foreclosed?
Yeah.
Oh, we can just go. Yeah, I mean, the bank owned it. They want to get it off their books.
Right. The thing is, he said it's under contract right now, but he said the contract is real shaky. Mm-hmm. So he said, yo, if it's a cash offer.
The banker said it's real shaky?
That's what the realtor said. He was like, it's just real shaky. He's not sure if it's closing or not.
Okay. Yeah, let's talk about it. Man, 2 deals in one day. You moving, David?
Let's talk about it, man. I'm an investor. I'm trying to invest every day.
Yeah.
Right? Of course. All right, so let's get into like the real estate development side. This is supposed to be a short episode, Terrica. Well, bring people back. It's supposed to be like a short episode, but this is so good. All right, so the real estate investment side. Mm-hmm. Let's say I got a little job or I have a business. I got a couple of dollars.
Right.
And I want to get into the real estate game. Because I just realized today, I'm in the game.
Yeah.
I'm out here. Yeah. Okay, so how does somebody...
streets.
I'm out here. So got a little portfolio and everything. You know what I mean? A little portfolio. How does someone start investing in real estate? How do we get in the game? What was I get my foot in there?
So I'll say this. You say a little change. Give me an example.
How much do I need to buy my first investment property? Around about. Depends on the city, I suppose.
Depends on the industry. So, I mean, wholesalers use nothing to get into the game, right? Other than marketing dollars and, their signs or whatever the case may be. I would say this. I bought my first rental property for $5,000. I like to speak on what I started with, So what got me started was my income tax return that I needed. And
instead of buying a car, I know some people take their income tax and buy a car every year.
I had 10 payday loans that I really needed to pay at this time, like very badly.
What?
Yes, I would literally drive from one payday loan company to the next, to the next, to the next. Like, I'm serious. Like, they would be like, just giving me a haircut with these fees. And I just was like, you know what? They're going to have to come and chase me. Like, I never wanted to be chased. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I'm like, I have to do this. And so I didn't even know I could buy a property for $5,000. So it wasn't like I just knew the property and I was making like this tough decision. I just knew that I was putting this money on a property. And I believe that's why I'm so rewarded with, the risk I take, because I believe it before it even take place. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So for me to have that $5,000 and allocate it to a property, I just didn't know what that property looked like. Now that property ugly as hell, but I still got that property. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's
rented.
Yeah. It stay rented. I don't like, and the tenants love it. Like my assistant be like, I can't believe they like this ugly house. But it was my
When did you get it? When did you get it?
Back in 2012, around that time.
Dang.
Yeah.
And that joint been cash flowing since 2012.
It done paid me back all my money, and I love that little house.
I bet you do.
I go pass by it and smile and be like, thank you, But yeah, so, for me, I started with my tax return. I think you have to start with what you have and stop holding on to it so tight, because I think for me, being a child of an addict, right? My mother was an addict, and I never, ever wanted to become addicted to anything that would hurt me. And payday loans were hurting me. Being in financial debt was hurting me just as much as it was hurting when she left us in the house for days at a time, right? So for me, I never wanted to feel like I was in that position again. And so you have to take what you have and believe that you're going to be able to multiply it, and I think we spend way more money on other crazy things. I believe we should take that money and just believe in ourselves. Even if it's your last $3,000, I didn't have $5,000 to put in that property. I made that $5,000 go there, and I think that that's important for people to understand. Yeah, that might be all you have, but what if? What if this, pop off for you? And the other thing is this: if you have a consumer mindset, that little money you holding on to will be consumed.
Yeah.
It will go to a creditor. It will go to, whatever it is that you consume. So why not try to break that and become a producer?
Gotcha. Okay. Listen, first off, you put a lot into, you put out what's the website for the course? First off, I know you just put together, I want to call this girl real quick because...
Yeah. He's still thinking about the
It's bothering me right now. Yeah. Because I feel like I should have capitalized.
Yeah.
Well, I was moving on it, but it's all them trees. It scared me. And there was a sign that said...
the trees scared him.
The government, the sewer was there or something like that. And she was like, I don't know. Hopefully she pick up because we're going to put another contract today.
Yes. Yeah.
I feel more comfortable now. You know what I mean? This is like this big decision. I was trying to figure it out. I'm sure she'll call me back if she won't.
David, that is not a big decision. That's a no-brainer.
See? I should have called you.
Please leave your message.
She didn't pick up. Okay. But anyway, okay. So you got a course where you put all the how to invest in real estate. Tell me about it. What's in it?
Yeah, so Invest You course is made of 2 modules, right? The first part is where I had to start and I had to break being a consumer. I think that's one of the hardest things ever is to break that mindset up. And so it's not just, let's talk about your mindset. Let's give you motivation. No, let's find the money you have with you right now. And so it literally combs through your finances. It gives you a true bill of what it is it costs for you to be you. And once you find out how much it costs to be you, all that extra spending needs to go into the investment category. The problem is majority of people don't create investment categories. Mm-hmm. So I teach you how to create an investment category by combing through the actual bank account that you have, your money that you spend, and I find money for you. Then you have to go on punishment for the next 12 months. So throughout the course, you're on punishment for 12 months.
Hold on, this ain't get rich quick?
No. The transfer of
those
wealth.
are the courses that sell, though.
Well, let me just say this.
You should have just told them, first off, I'm going to teach you how to get the money, and then you flip it, and then next month, you an investor.
Yeah, I wish it happened for me like that. You know what I'm saying? It just didn't, Other people, I guess, more favorable. I don't know. But for me, I give what I went through and how I took myself from homeless under a bridge to a self-made millionaire. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to give you no steps I didn't really do. I'm going to give you what I did. I had to clean Terrica Smith up. I had to become a better producer of what I had and not a consumer. And so I teach you that through phase 1 of Invest You. And then in phase 2, we get to the meat and potatoes. What type of industry you want to be in? Real estate is like an octopus, legs all over the place, right? Mm-hmm. You can literally, grab onto any leg and, run with it. I recommend you start with a smaller leg, maybe a rehab or one rental property, like I did, one rental property, or you start with, something where it's not like a whole lot of risk, but it's able to get your feet wet. And also part 2 talks about your exit plan. It talks about personal financial statements. It teaches you how to prepare yourself for generational wealth, because what you're doing, you're sitting at the table now, but you still got to remember there's other empty seats that have to be filled. For me, that's my downline. That's my legacy. So I got to make sure my children understand this process as well. So I teach you how to do it with your family and not just by yourself.
I love it. Because you've definitely helped me. And you build out my portfolio.
Yeah, we're still building. I need more.
We're still building. Yes, I need more. Yeah. You're telling me I need.
Yeah, let's go.
You got another deal? You got more deals? Because this one's working out well.
Well, I want that one you just showed me on your phone.
Well, there we have it. There we have it, ladies and gentlemen. We got to finish this episode so we can get to this business because it's going to be lit.
I'm excited.
It's about to be crazy. Yeah. And it's a house across the street that's for sale. And the neighborhood ain't like super thriving like that. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, I'm going to just get that house. And then the house next to that look like it's for sale too. So,
just to put this into perspective,
that's 3 acres.
Huh?
3 acres, plenty of parking. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no. So sitting on 40 acres And
Oh, you're talking about the land?
Yeah. Right now, I'm talking about that land sitting on 40 acres. Appreciation is between 12 to 14% right now. So this time next year, with appreciation, property values is still going to be going up. So you got to actually, yeah. So if you just sitting and chilling and don't even decide to develop right now, like I own a lot of acres of land in Louisiana that's just sitting there. You know, we keep it up, we maintain it, and when we decide to build or develop something on it, we go.
Oh, so you just start acquiring acres just in case?
Yeah, I believe in the Queen Elizabeth model. Yeah.
What's that?
Own a lot of acres.
Who's Queen Elizabeth? Joe don't know. I'm trying to educate you, brother.
The Queen of England?
The Queen of England. My bad. Don't shake your head at me. You judging me? I didn't know.
She owned more real estate than McDonald's. And the Catholic churches. She owns a lot.
Dang.
Yeah, so, and it sits there and it's beautiful and people go visit it and look at it. And so, they're not making it no more. So, New Orleans is very limited on land inside the city. That's why, our little boat-shaped lots, cost an arm and two legs. In Atlanta, they're not making land no more. So it's best to have it and hold on to it and use it when you're ready and or sell it at a premium. The investment, man, this is what people have to get. The investment is the land. It is not the infrastructure that is on top of it. It is the dirt itself. Everything up under this is what's important, not what we're sitting in.
All right. We're all going to buy more real estate, right? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, so where do people find the course? What's the website?
InvestUcourse.com.
Can we have a discount for social proofers?
Well, yes, whatever David say, because I'm not here for the money.
So promo code social proof. I don't know what the discount's going to be, but just go and it'll be a discount. So social proof, just hit your people and tell them to make a little promo code.
Yep.
This is very informative.
Thank you.
At first, I wanted to build a ghetto, and now I don't. And I just want to go to a project, build it, and build some stuff around it. But now I'm nervous because I'm thinking about it. I'm just saying
I wouldn't be with you. You know what I'm saying?
You wouldn't rock with me on that? Joe might. You with it?
Come on, Joe.
You teach mental health and mental wellness, brother. We need that in our community.
But I'm with Terrica. I'm not trying to build another hood, though.
Yes, thank you.
That's tearing down people's mental health now.
Yeah.
The hood, forget it. All right. Anyway. All right. So you said InvestU.
Yes, InvestUcourse.com. So INVESTU. The letter U. Course.com.
Okay. And you put in there who is this course perfect for?
This course is perfect for, number one, anybody who's going through financial hardships right now, because I like to focus on that first, right? I'm just trying to figure out how I can make, more money. I believe we all have it. We just don't know what we put it at. So it's for those people. It's for people that want to get started in real estate. It's for experienced real estate investors that's wanting to grow their portfolio to the next level, and you just may feel comfortable where you at and you don't know how to do the next level. Mm-hmm. Like this course is meant for everybody around. And then also like my daughter who's 17 years old and actually doing this, you know what I'm saying? You can bring your children to be a part of this. So it's important to make sure it's a whole family effort,
That's crazy because she be finding properties and all that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
She's flipping.
Oh, yeah. She's
crazy.
On it. Oh, yeah. She's definitely on it. Yep.
That's amazing. So thank you so much, Terrica, for actually flying in
absolutely
to Atlanta to pour into me.
Oh,
and my friends, of course.
You pour into me equally.
Yes, man.
A lot.
Yeah, because we're going to get rich.
Yeah.
Even more rich together.
Yes.
Yeah. Wealthy.
Yeah.
Let's go. All right, so do you have, let everybody know how to find you, and then you got to close us out with a word of wisdom.
Okay, perfect. So you guys can find me on all social media platforms at Terrica Lynn Smith. Everything is Terrica Lynn Smith. And what I'll leave you guys with is this. Poor people buy liabilities that make the rich through assets. So think about it. Every time you buy a liability, it's making the rich person richer because it's their asset. Once I understood that, I was like, what am I doing? So just always keep that in mind. Make sure you invest in the asset and not the liability.
There it is. Listen, we can't close it out no better than that, man. Do yourself a favor, okay? Go get you, first off, follow Terrica right now. Right now, pull out your phone. Y'all following her? Are you following? Are you following? Pick up your phone. Follow her, bro. Terrica Smith right now, okay? You will not be sorry. But next, go get you some social proof, okay? Meaning go build something, document the process, but then you got to bring it back to your community and teach the people in your community how you did what you did, okay? We are out of here. Peace. If you like this clip, do yourself a favor. Subscribe to the podcast. Go to your Spotify, go to your Apple app, and just hit the follow button. Leave a review. That's the way you can support this podcast, all right? Thank you.